In this video, we're going to install a 110 volt outlet in the inside of my Tacoma. Coming up. So a couple of years ago, Chloe Kuo installed a 110 volt plug on the inside of her Tacoma. And ever since then, I've been searching for an excuse to install one on mine. Let me back up for just a moment. So if you don't know already, a lot of the Tacomas come with an inverter. It can do 100 watts or 400 watts. While the 400 watts is limited to specific situations, I believe it's engine running with the vehicle in park. But the outlet is in the bed of the truck. Mine is covered most of the time by my swing case toolbox because I just hardly ever used it. I rarely used it. I think the only times I really used it was like if I'm going to sell something that needed to be plugged in, I'd plug it into there so that I can prove that it worked. The rest of the time, it just stayed covered and I just never used it. So in her video, she installed the plug in the back of the center console. I think that's where I plan on installing mine. Although you could install it up on the side up here or pretty much wherever you'd like as long as the wires reach. So the kit that we're going to be installing comes from Guild Outfitters. In the box, it comes with the plug. It comes with a drill bit that is designed for drilling and then has like a rasp on it because most people have drills. Not everybody has other tools like a Dremel or something like that to cut that out. I think I'm going to be using a Dremel on mine. It also comes with a template here which doubles as a bottle cap opener. I pretty much never drink out of bottles, and when they do, they have twist caps, but nice to have. And then we have the wiring. The wiring is plug and play, which is always appreciated. The only thing that I wouldn't count as plug and play is the ground wire, which is just going to be a bolt. But not only does this kit allow you to install the outlet, it also gives you full-time access to the 400 watts rather than just during specific times. I think that that was kind of a miss on Toyota's part, although there might be a reason that they did that. I'm not entirely sure. Now, because I want to remain fully transparent with my viewers, I did reach out to Guild Outfitters and they did send this to me free of charge, but that is not going to change my opinion about this kit. They were also nice enough to send some extra merch. They sent me a couple of extra patches, a very interesting looking dog leash. It's got this clasp that opens up and I don't know, it's very interesting to me. Got a little swivel on the end here. And as a dog owner and a dog lover, I thought that this was pretty cool that they included this. I did not expect this at all. And they sent this water bottle, and I'm looking at it, it looked kind of funny down here. And I had to go to the website just to be sure, but we were playing with it, my wife and I, and she got really excited because these screw off. So with this water bottle and the two cups attached to the bottom, now you have a place to put food and or water when you're out traveling with your pets, hiking, driving, overlanding, or the such. Again, I did not expect these things. Guild Outfitters threw them in with the kit, so I am very appreciative, and these will get used. So you might be wondering, what is my excuse for finally deciding to install this kit? Well, that's it right there. The Anchor Everfrost 2 cooler, that's why I decided to get this kit. On the first trip that I had with this cooler, I had it plugged in with just the 12 volt plug. And while it was maintaining and slowly charging, I only got about 10% over the course of 2.5, call it 3 hours. I only got 10% via the 12 volt plug. So the normal 110 volt plug is going to charge it faster than the 12 volt. And since I have the option to do that, that was my perfect excuse to install this kit to run my Everfrost 2 while I'm driving. All right, so the first thing we want to do is pull this part loose. So we're going to push this down, release it away from the shifter. You can see my little chrome cover from Miso Customs. Cover up that chrome. But anyway, then the knob just screws off, unscrews, whatever. Then you're going to need to pry this away. A pry tool will make it easier, although it's not necessary. You could probably use a screwdriver, like a flathead screwdriver, although you could cause some damage to stuff, so just be mindful of that. This does make it very easy. There is a wire connector right here that you need to disconnect in order to flip this to the side. There it is right here. Also going to need to cut this electrical tape and unplug the cigarette lighter or 12-volt outlet, whatever you want to call it. Well, you probably could remove this little tab here. It's probably just going to be easier just to cut the tape, which is what I did. Now it can lift out. So now that the center console is out, we can access the inverter, which is right here. We have a bolt right here that we can use for our ground, that extra wire that I showed you. And we're going to unplug this one and plug in our connector. Here's the ground wire I was talking about. That's going to go right here. This end is going to plug into this cable to go into the outlet. And this connector goes here. And it gets plugged back in to the inverter. This is also a 10mm bolt. So the smart thing to do is going to be to test it before I do any cutting or reassembly. I have my DeWalt vacuum plugged into it, hence the headphones. It should pull about 320 watts by my estimate. So we're going to start the truck and go through the gears to make sure that it works in all of those situations. Turn on the inverter. You can see that 400 watts is lit up. I'll go ahead and take it out of park. Now it's in drive. Now it's in reverse. It's mad because all the doors are open, the parking brake's on. And we'll go ahead and turn on the vacuum. Still 400 watts. We'll go ahead and just to show you that it is working, go ahead and turn off the inverter. Maybe not be the best way to do it, but whatever. It appears to be working. Vacuums are loud, so I gotta wear ear protection to not make my tinnitus any worse. So we got the template taped in. Now you might be wondering why I have it in the floor area on the passenger side. Well, that's because when you flip up the seat, you don't have much room between the seat and the center console. So you're not gonna be able to plug anything in. You could damage it, damage the cord, damage the outlets. So I'm glad I checked that first. When I put the cooler back here, I had the seats folded down and I put it back on the back side of the hard plastic of the seats back here. So that is something that you really need to think about and consider. I was thinking about putting it on the side here. I don't know if I'm in love with that. I never move this seat. I never tilt it. I never slide it back and forth. So it wouldn't be an issue if I did install it right here, but I just don't think there's still quite enough room to put it right here on the side. Well, as you can see, I used the box here to catch some of the shavings, try and contain some of the mess. And the jagged edges is just the insulation behind it, but the hole itself, I think, turned out really smooth. This is the bit that I used on the Dremel, if you are curious. All right, now that the outlet's installed, I'm going to clean up the wires and organize them just a little bit and get right back to you. All right, so I'm going to try and show you how I ran the wires, but I do want to mention, make sure this is plugged all the way in until it snaps. I didn't have it plugged in all the way and it kind of fell out. Luckily, I haven't put it back together yet, so that's a good thing. But yeah, make sure that it goes all the way in. I have the other plug, the factory one that came out, kind of tucked to the side there. The ground wire is installed, and then it runs down this way, and along the passenger side I have it zip tied right here, and then I have it zip tied again just ahead of the shifter. There's a bundle of wires that I zip tied it to, and then have the excess zip tied up as well right here. So during reinstallation, make sure that you plug the cigarette lighter back in and put some new electrical tape or a zip tie to hold it onto that clip. I think I remember taking this apart for one reason or another, and I forgot to plug that back in. Don't do what I did. Remember to plug that back in. So I have the 2 bolts reinstalled. This piece is secured. Now be careful because there's little hooks and clips, kind of, I don't know, not quite clips, but parts of the plastic on both sides here. And it is soft and weak, and they just come right off. So now we're going to put the center console back on. It's probably going to be a bit of a struggle. For me, the brake controller is just a little bit in the way. Actually, that was way easier than I thought. It's just sitting in place. I haven't popped it back in, but it was definitely a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Don't forget my chrome cover. Figure out where my knob went. Now, just in case any of you are wondering why I don't just put the cooler in the bed of my truck and plug it in there, it's actually too tall to fit underneath the tonneau cover. I like to close the tonneau cover with all my camping gear in it. Keeps the dust out and keeps the prying eyes out as well. So I like to close it, and it's about an inch too tall to close my tonneau cover. And that's why I wanted the outlet inside my truck. So that's it for the installation of this outlet. It was pretty easy and straightforward, although I spent a whole lot of time, and probably way more than I should have, trying to figure out the best place to put it, whether I wanted to put it here or on the side of the center console. I spent way more time than I would have liked to, but I mean, at this point, I've been up for 25 hours. Yesterday afternoon, I flew from LAX to Phoenix to Cincinnati, and then jump seated from Cincinnati back to Phoenix, all overnight, and I just stayed up and started working on this stuff. That's probably one of the biggest reasons why it took so long trying to decide where it is. I'm very sleep deprived, and not thinking very clearly. It's not a difficult installation at all. The Dremel did make it easy, and it made it for a very clean install. So if you have a Dremel, I definitely recommend using that. Although it does come with a drill bit, and it's like a drill bit on the tip and then a reamer, and that does work. So if that's all you got, definitely use it. Don't be afraid that it's not going to work. It definitely does. I like the Dremel personally just because it's a little bit easier to handle. It's smaller and more maneuverable, more for delicate, finer work, I guess. Take your time, go slow. You can always go bigger, you can't go smaller. I cut the board twice and it's still too small. But you can get creative. You can put them where you want them as long as the wire will reach. You could also extend it if you wanted to. I'm not going to because there was only a couple places that I really wanted to put it. So definitely go check out Guild Outfitters. I'm very happy with this product, and I think you will be too. If this is your first time here, I'm a bit of a do-it-yourselfer. My projects range all over the place, from doing stuff to my Tacoma, installing my own solar system. Admittedly, those videos probably aren't that great because they were some of my earlier YouTube videos. So my content might seem like it's all over the place, but I try and keep the underlying theme of DIY. So if that's up your alley, please subscribe, helps us out, and give this video a like. We'll just wrap this video up right here. We'll catch you on the next project. See ya.